Hey students, this is Dr. Miller, and I'm going to give you some feedback on the first week's assignments. The first part of that was to take the syllabus quiz, and you all did that, and that's great. The second part was the discussion, and most all of you did that. But let's go ahead and take a look at what some of the results are here. I asked you why you were taking the class, and of course this is an elective for most everybody. And uh, most of you expressed a general interest in taking photos, and some of you were specifically interested in maybe a career in media and communications, and also there was a student that expressed just a general interest in art. So those are all good reasons to take the class. I'm glad you're here. And let's look at the cameras now. The Canon Rebel T series had 4 students. There's the T6, which is pictured here, and the T3. The T3 is an earlier version. It is about 5 or 6 years older than the T6, so the T6 naturally has some improvements to it. It has a little bit bigger sensing area and therefore can create photos with a little higher resolution, but both are excellent cameras. We also have a couple of students taking different versions of the Nikon Coolpix 500 series. And again, I'll show you that in a second here. But there are a couple of students that are just going to use their smartphones, and that's fine because you're going to learn to use a camera, not your specific camera. I'll try to give you some guidance in terms of the specifics about your various cameras, but I can't teach the class to any particular camera. So we're going to learn about cameras in general, and we're going to learn how to use cameras. So this is the Coolpix 520, and again the 510 is a little bit earlier version, and the 520 is a little more updated with a couple of enhancements to it. Now this camera, the Nikon Coolpix camera, is different from the previous camera, the Rebel, in that it doesn't have a lens that comes off and switches to other lenses. The Rebel series, the T series, has interchangeable lenses, and that's a great feature if you're moving more towards higher quality photography with a single lens reflex camera. Having the ability to switch from one lens to another is a great advantage. That being said, there's nothing wrong with the Coolpix, and the capabilities of this camera are excellent. So you can take really good photos with any of these cameras or with your smartphones. So we have all of the students in the class are using iPhones, which is a little bit different. I usually have a couple of Samsung smartphones in the class, but that's fine. And they're all pretty new. There's a couple of students with a 6, but we've got some 8s and some X's, so that's great. I personally have an iPhone 7, and I'm very happy with it. And all these iPhones take amazing photographs. And we'll spend some time specifically on some techniques and some hints and so forth that are specific to the iPhones. Now, what did you want to learn? Well, most of you expressed a general interest in improving your ability to take good photographs. Some students mentioned lighting specifically, and lighting is an area we will cover. It's also an area that really can differentiate you as a photographer. If you know how to recognize what the lighting situations are, or in some situations create a lighting situation using artificial lights, you can get really good photographs. 3 specifically said camera use, and I guess general improvement would include that as well, but camera use is something we all want to get better at. Composition, which is one of the key elements of photography, and photo editing. And we will spend about a third of the class or so editing photographs that you take using what tools you might be familiar with, or if you don't have a tool, I will get you one called Pixlr, which is free, and it's an online photo editing tool, and it has a lot of power. So we'll get through the editing part as well. Let's briefly preview the first assignment. I want you to learn the language of photography, and there's a lot of sort of technical parts to it, but the first thing we want to focus on is the types of photography or the genres of photography. And there could be many. There's an article that I have in your readings about, I think, 10 or 15 genres of photography, and you can certainly have that with many or more. But the ones we're going to focus on are portrait, landscape, a candid, perhaps a documentary or lifestyle type of photograph, close-up photographs, action photographs, and then the last category is really what I would call just creative or artsy. Now, there can definitely be some overlap between some of these different genres, but when we do assignments, we will use these repeatedly. The first assignment you're going to have, you're actually just going to capture photographs from Flickr. I have it Flick here, but it's really Flickr, and that's the website for Flickr. And this is a repository of photographs, and there are millions and millions of photographs out there. So I just want you to find photographs that meet the criteria that will be described for these different genres, and you're not really going to use your own camera. First, I'd like you to read the articles and then watch the videos, and then go to Flickr, and there's a video and some articles that will explain how to do this, but you will find in Flickr plenty of these different genres of photography. So that's what we'll do for the first time, first real assignment. If you have any questions, please contact me through Blackboard email. Thanks very much.